Charles Di Bartolo with a Better Staten Island, and I'm proud to be here with Paul Sanders. He is a senior administrator
Yes.
With Government and Community Affairs for Animal Care Centers of New York City. He is also a district committee member for Staten Island Scouts BSA and the commissioner, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I want to get into there's so many stray pets out there, things like that, and you do a lot of great things for the community. You did run Staten Island, but now you're doing more for the 5 boroughs, is that it?
Yes, so for the last almost 5 years, I've been the manager of the care center here on Staten Island for the animal care centers in New York City. Recently, I got promoted, and now I'm working with governmental officials as well as community affairs groups and organizations to help spread the word about ACC, not just here in Staten Island, but across all 5 boroughs.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about what Animal Care Centers of New York City does, who they are.
Sure.
Maybe a little history.
Absolutely. So Animal Care Centers of New York City was founded in 1995 to take over the animal sheltering role here in New York City. We are an organization that is an open admission shelter, meaning that anyone who comes to us with an animal, we will take in. We don't turn anyone away. We might ask for an appointment to try to help, navigate population and stuff, but we will never turn anyone away. We have to take the animal in. We have full service care centers in Staten Island, Manhattan, Brooklyn, and we will be opening one in Queens in the next few months. We're very excited about that. And ground is breaking shortly for a full service care center in the Bronx as well.
Okay, and how is this funded?
So we have a long-term contract with the City of New York, but we're also funded through grants and as well as private donations, both monetarily and in kind from members of the community here in New York City as well as beyond.
Okay, and so you do take donations?
Absolutely.
Gladly.
Absolutely,
Right.
yes.
Okay.
Like any nonprofit, we always have the space in our coffers for a little bit more.
Right, and so what is the mission of this group?
So our mission is rather succinct, but really broad. Our mission is to end animal homelessness in New York City.
Okay.
So, yeah, it packs a punch because
Right.
there's a lot
That's not
in
easy.
that little sentence.
Right.
But that is our mission and our goal, and everything we do, we strive to get to that.
Right. So, okay, so that's the mission, and yet it's unaccomplishable, I would assume. Like,
It definitely has its challenges, but
Right.
it also has its joys as well.
so now that's a lofty mission. How do
Yes.
you accomplish a mission like that?
Well, we obviously have adoptions available in all of our care centers. We're very proud of our Staten Island Care Center here. We just opened it up, grand opened it in October. We dedicated it to the memory of Tommy Monahan, a young boy who passed away here on Staten Island many years ago, helping rescue his dog from a house fire.
Right.
So we open up our centers to the community for people to come in to adopt, but we also, have other ways that people can come in and, get animals out of the building.
Okay.
So, many different things.
So explain that a little bit. So you have adoption.
Yep.
I'm sure you have to put animals down over a certain period of time, or how
So
does that
we're
work?
very proud of the fact that we do meet the qualifications to be considered a no-kill shelter.
Really?
Yeah. So there are organizations out there, people that we work with very closely, that are not quite there yet. So we don't use the term no-kill, just because it's not productive to those striving to get to that point.
Right.
But we do meet the qualifications based in animal welfare standards.
Right.
There is no set time that an animal is with us. We will do everything we can to find placement for an animal. Sometimes, if an animal has severe behavior issues where, rehabilitation is not an option due to safety concerns, Possibly, but not always. We work with many, many rescue groups who also have advanced behaviorists and stuff like that. So we strive to do everything we can before that. That is an absolute last resort for any animal.
So you actually correct behavioral issues.
We
if you
do.
can.
We try to work, as much as possible. We have a behavior team in every care center. We do work with outside groups. For example, here on Staten Island, I work with an organization called Key-Rack Dog Training Club, which is based out in Tottenville. They have come in, we've brought dogs to them. So we do everything we can to make sure that the animals that come into our facility leave our facility and get to go to their next step, whether it be a rescue group or a new home.
Right. Well, it's funny. I hear people complain about pets. I was a horse trainer and a dog groomer, and back when I was younger. And I look today at the problems people have with pets, and I think it's, my opinion, is because they don't spend enough time at home, and they're not consistent. So I see so many issues, and it's probably a delicate situation for you to talk about. I can see by your face.
No, it's not. It's and we coach and speak to and counsel all of our adopters on what is needed, what should be expected. We also won't put an animal into a home that we know we're setting up everyone for failure.
Right.
So if we have a cat that is really independent and doesn't want to be touched, but they're telling us they have 3, 4, 5, and 6-year-old kids.
Right.
That's not going to be a successful match.
That's a torture chamber.
For everyone.
Right.
So we try to, steer them to another animal or a different type of, temperament, at least in a cat.
So you actually try to fit them. So is there
Absolutely.
a questionnaire or a form that people have to fill out so you can find them a good home?
So yeah. So we, we have a very simple application. When you go to fill out to adopt an animal. But a lot of it is conversation, kind of like what we're doing here today. We take one step and we go to the next, and we see where the conversation leads us.
Right.
Now, there are some things that we obviously want to make sure that are there, like if you're renting, does your landlord allow animals, stuff like that.
It's not usually the case.
It's a lot harder these days, absolutely. But we definitely do all we can to make sure, like I said, we are setting everyone up for success, and most importantly, the animal for success. We don't want the animal back in our facilities anytime soon at all. So we want to make sure that we're doing what we can to get them into the right home.
So now, what percentage? It used to be dogs were the most popular, and I'm seeing that now it seems like cats are more popular pets. What are the percentages? Do you know roughly?
So I don't know the percentages offhand. I could say we definitely adopt more cats here in Staten Island than we do dogs.
Right.
We also have a larger percentage of cats coming into the building as well.
Right.
One of the things that dog gets out, dog gets lost, a lot easier to find the dog's owner back to its home.
Right.
Cat, because they stay generally in a certain area. Right. Cats will flee, go further.
Really?
So it becomes a little more tricky. That's why we're always encouraged when we hear people in the community saying, oh, I lost a cat. Well, you really should go check out ACC because, that's where people are going to bring animals. So it's always a good thing for that. But we also have seen a very high percentage of people adopting guinea pigs and rabbits in the last few years. So it's all over the place.
You don't have to find. I should say, you don't get many of those stray, I would assume.
Guinea pigs and rabbits, no, but we do get them.
Right.
A lot of times we'll get them in from parks. People think that,
They
a guinea
just
pig.
let them loose in the park.
Absolutely. They think it was one thing and it turns out to be another thing. Like you said, consistency and knowing what you're getting into, and not everyone realizes that. Guinea pigs are actually a really big problem in New York City right now.
Really?
Yeah, because there are so many of them. People buy them. They're like, oh, they're cute, they're cuddly. But they're loud. They make a lot of mess. If you don't keep up cleanliness on them all the time, they smell. So they can reproduce very easily in large amounts very quickly. We just recently had someone bring in a litter, or multiple litters of guinea pigs, but only over a couple of months, and it was 22 guinea pigs they ended up bringing in because the place that sold it to them didn't sex them correctly. They
Right.
thought they were getting two of the same
Right.
gender. They didn't. And
a
next
lot of
thing you
guinea
know,
pigs.
guinea pigs had guinea pigs had guinea pigs.
That's funny.
So yeah. So I named them after the entire Mets roster from this last year.
There you go. Okay, so is it just adoptions and admission of animals?
No. So one of the things that we want people to know is animal care centers is here as a resource for the community. Like I said, we don't want your animal. So if there are some needs that you have, maybe you're, a little short on money this month and food is a little tight, we'll help you with food. For certain types of illnesses, things that have a repairable, outcome, we can help possibly assist with vet,
It's good
bills.
to know. It gets very expensive today.
Absolutely. And we don't have an endless supply in that fund, again,
Right.
where donations always come.
to be practical,
Yeah, but we will do everything. We absolutely believe the best place for any animal is in the home that, where it came from.
Right.
And home is a very broad, thing for us too. Living here in New York City, condo, a house, depending on where you are, it could, and a lot of times, home is the person. So we want to keep people with their animals.
Right.
That animal knows the person, and that's their home.
So now, where are animal care centers? Where are they located? Where are the locations?
So here in Staten Island, we have one in the Charleston section, which the easiest way for me to tell people is right near the Outer Bridge, near the Christmas tree shops and Target, that mall over there. In Brooklyn, it's in East New York on Linden Boulevard, so out near JFK Airport, not
Right.
quite to JFK. In Manhattan, it is on East 110th Street. And the care center that's going to be opening up in Queens in the late winter, early spring, is in Ridgewood.
Right.
We do have a resource center right now in the Bronx until our new care center opens up in a few years in the Bronx, but that's on Fordham Road in the Bronx. So there is ACC visibility in those care centers, but we also do mobile events every weekend. We have outreach teams. So you might be just walking down the street in Manhattan and there's a pop-up from ACC, maybe doing adoptions, maybe just giving the word on stuff. We do food pantries and vet clinics, as well as pop-ups in areas of need as well.
That's great. That's great. And how many pets do you handle annually?
So ACC takes in about 20,000 animals a year across the 5 boroughs, and that's cats, dogs, guinea pigs, rabbits, wildlife, raccoons, deer. But here in Staten Island, in the last couple of years, I've taken in goats, sheep, pigs. I have brought an alligator. Somebody obviously had an alligator in their home, and it was found in the woods by Monsignor Farrell High School. Parks Department brought it to us. We found a place with a sanctuary, and great outcome there. Also had a capuchin monkey brought into us.
Really?
Yeah. Tiger was found in an apartment
A lot
in
of
the
illegal
Bronx.
animals, I would
Yeah,
assume.
illegal animals always have to come into us, and then we find outside of New York City places to go. We work with a lot of rescue groups.
Where do they go? To zoos? What do you?
So
That's interesting.
Actually, most zoos won't take them because they have to
Really?
be quarantined for a while.
Wow.
But we do have work with sanctuaries. We work with sanctuaries. So, for example, that monkey, when there's an actual monkey sanctuary up by Niagara Falls. Most people don't know that. We do. We send a lot of our farm animals, livestock, to a sanctuary in Sussex County, New Jersey. So we work with people all over the place. When I first came to ACC, we sent probably about, I think it was 80 hamsters and gerbils to a rescue group in Indiana. So we work with over 350 partners. We call them our New Hope partners.
Right.
And they're mostly within the Northeast United States, but they do, span, across the country.
Do you get a lot of abandoned snakes? Because I'm hearing that there's a lot of that going on.
So more illegal snakes.
Right.
We get those in. There's very distinct ones you can have and ones you can't. We work with as our partner as well as our funder through the Department of Health, and they have listed all the animals that are unable to be kept in New York City. But when we do get snakes, again, we have partners that we work with on them. It's really kind of fun for us who every day, see cats, dogs, guinea pigs, rabbits, to get something in. We've had boa constrictors, we've had, pythons brought into our care
I would
centers.
imagine they get too big. People don't realize that that's not the kind of pet to have.
When it takes over your bathtub, it's probably not suited for your home.
That's wild. Yeah. Okay. So it's not just cats and dogs.
Absolutely.
And do you deal with other organizations that we should know about?
So like I said, we work with New Hope partners all over the place. And we also work with, the ASPCA, Best Friends Animal Society, some of the larger national animal welfare organizations we work with as well. Especially the ASPCA, they're right here in New York City, they're based. So, we do a lot of work because our missions and what we do is very synergistic. We work closely, they align well. So, we do work with other organizations. But then we also work with, other, entities within, the boroughs. Right. For example, we've worked closely with the Empire Outlets to do outreach events there, the Borough President's Office, things like that. So, we want to, be everywhere we can, because one of the things, no matter what your background is, what your beliefs are, animals are a commonality.
Absolutely.
Everyone loves animals. Everyone wants to be.
We're just going to take a quick break.
Sure.
And then we'll be right back.
What is dementia? Is it the same as Alzheimer's? What is vascular dementia, Lewy body, FTD, TBI, and CTE? If someone has memory loss, does that mean they have dementia? Millions of Americans ask these questions every day. I did too, and I learned. My wife Ginny developed dementia. I didn't know what to do or what was coming next. I'm Kevin Jameson, volunteer and president of the Dementia Society of America. I'm excited to offer you a free guide to understanding dementia. It's filled with facts about dementia, care planning, how doctors can help, and ways to keep your brain as healthy as possible. The Dementia Society of America is a national nonprofit, and we're ready to answer your questions. You want to live life to the fullest. I know that. Ginny did too, and I'm confident that we can help. Get your copy of the guide. Go to 1-800-DEMENTIA.org or call 1-800-DEMENTIA. Thank you.
What makes essential workers essential?
We keep where you work and live clean and safe.
We harvest fresh produce for your families to eat.
We help you heal when you're sick.
Essential workers help our nation run. You're in every corner of our country and come from all over the globe. I'm Marty Walsh. The Wage and Hour Division at the Department of Labor helps ensure you receive the essential protections you deserve. Visit our website or call 866-4US-WAGE.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Labor.
Hi, this is Charles Di Bartolo with the Better Staten Island. I'm here with Paul Sanders from Animal Care Centers of New York City. And we're just talking about what they do for pets and animals in New York City and trying to keep every pet in a home, which is a wonderful thing. And we were talking about what organizations you work with. Were there any others that we should mention?
So, no, but the biggest thing I do want to stress is our New Hope partners. Without them, we really would not be able to successfully have the rate of placement we do. I mean, we have some partners that take only geriatric sick cats. We have some partners that only take, behaviorally challenged dogs. So there's very niche
So what does New Hope
groups.
do? What's their specialty?
So New Hope is just what we call them. It's a new hope for these animals.
Right.
So they're all different organizations, and we have a whole team that work with them to help place those animals. So without those people and those groups, we would never be as successful as we are to get our animals out of our care centers.
Right. So here in Staten Island, we have a lot of animal lovers. And I'm sure that there are people watching that are dying to help you.
Sure.
How do they help you?
Well, there's many different ways you can help. One is just, word of mouth. What you're hearing today, share it. Tell people you heard about us. Speak about the things that you know to be true of the organization. There were times that every organization builds and grows, and there are things that happened 10 years ago that it's not the case anymore. We encourage everyone to come down and take a look. That's a great way to learn about ACC. But we also, if you have a little more time, we have a very robust volunteer program. In our Staten Island Care Center, we have about 60 volunteers right now.
Right.
Always could use more. But overall, across all 5 boroughs, we have a team of almost 400 volunteers who come in every single day, 365 days a year. Holidays, we're there. The volunteers are there as well. Cats, dogs all need to be fed, all need to be cleaned, doesn't matter the day, and we have some of the most dedicated volunteers in the world, in anything. I'm absolutely confident of that.
So now, why do they come to animal care centers in New York City? Give me like 5 points.
Well, I think because they know they're making a difference. They know that their help is needed, that it's appreciated, that they feel better, good about what they're doing,
right,
and because it's needed.
And why do you bring an animal here versus somewhere else?
Well, I think the biggest thing, the reason that, especially if it's a stray animal,
right,
is that we're the animal shelter. It's the
right.
place where
so it is
people
the animal shelter.
We are the only animal shelter.
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought there were
on
others.
Staten Island.
Okay.
No, there's rescue groups
right.
that work with it, but where I said we're an open admission, we take everything, they're more limited. They can say, no, we can't take that animal. We take everything. So,
right.
so especially in this day and age where there's a lot of Facebook and Instagram, people can post things. Some older, community members or people who aren't as technological savvy aren't going on Facebook to look for their dog or
right.
cat.
Right.
They're going to come to the shelter.
Right.
So that's why people bring to us. And as well, people, when they start to learn more about ACC and the things I told you about, is they'll be there. They're taken care of. We make sure that we get them a home, when we absolutely can. We strive to get animals into homes.
Right. So now it's funny, you work with Scouts, and we didn't. So you're a district committee member and a commissioner for Staten Island Scouting.
Yes.
And have you ever tied pets or animals? Do you teach? I would imagine you teach the pet merit badge.
So yeah, so I'm a registered counselor for Pets Merit Badge, dog care, veterinary medicine. Things like that. But yeah, I've been talking with the ranger out at Camp Pouch here on Staten Island about possibly doing some, animal-focused programming in the spring. I was talking to someone just recently about opportunities for eagle candidates to do projects at some of our care centers.
Right, that's a great idea.
So yes, it's definitely something that I've been able to work with. Just recently, I was able to take some of the contacts I know from my job at ACC and be able to translate it into getting a little promotion for an event going on at the camp. So we're definitely able to work side by side with those two things. Yeah.
That's great. So I know you're doing a few things in scouting for the Staten Island district. Mm-hmm. I would be remiss if we didn't mention it, right? So what's going on? It's a fantastic organization, does wonderful things for boys and girls today.
Absolutely.
And you are running, I know you have some events. Tell me about that.
So I run the communication side, so I'm very fortunate I get to hear about all and everything. So we have a Christmas tree sale going on at Pouch. I'm sure by the time this airs, it'll be.
It may not. We may have it out this week.
All right. So if it is, if you need a Christmas tree still, Camp Pouch on Manor Road, we have that. We also, have our Klondike Derby coming up in February. Scout Sunday or Scout Sabbath is also happening the first week of February. In January, Staten Island, we're very proud to be hosting the Order of the Arrow Lodge banquet here in Staten Island. The Order of the Arrow, for those that don't know, is the Honored Camper Society of the Boy Scouts.
Right.
So we're doing a lot of great things here.
Where would they go to
Island.
find these events?
So the best place to go, you can look up Staten Island Scouting on Facebook, or you can go to the Greater New York Council's website at nycscouting.org. information on there, especially under the calendar, not just for Staten Island, but all 5 boroughs.
Right, right. And you've been in scouting through your youth?
I was a Tiger Cub back in 1981, followed through, spent years as an adult leader, worked for 12 years at scout camps, took a break, and I've come back recently.
Well, that's great. It's good to have you back into scouting.
I'm
we need
thrilled.
as many volunteers as possible.
Absolutely.
Just like we need volunteers for these pets. And what else can I ask you that you want the people to know about the care centers for animals?
I just think that the thing I want them to know is that, because the community cares a lot, and we care just as much. I think if we were able to, really put that force on each side together, we could do a lot of great things, even greater things that already happened. So I think that would be the biggest thing, to come together, to work together for that mission, to help animals, to end animal homelessness in New York City. We could do fantastic, fantastic
It's a
things.
refreshing, I always thought of the dog pound. And that doesn't exist anymore, right?
It's I wouldn't say nowhere,
Right.
But here in New York City, we have become a very progressive, modern organization in terms of animal welfare and what we believe and how we go about, finding homes for animals.
That's wonderful. It's refreshing to hear. It's
Well,
nice
thank you.
to know that the city is behind the pets that are in the city and trying to help to keep people, animals, not homeless.
Right.
And to keep pet owners happy. That's a great thing. And I'm sure you need as many volunteers. You have 400. I'm sure you could use at least another 100, right?
More than that. We have many gaps still on the schedule. So,
Great.
yeah.
Well, if you're an animal lover, that's a great place to be, because that's a very rewarding. I'm sure it's very rewarding to go there, help these animals, take care of them.
Absolutely.
Especially if you can't have your own right now.
Yep.
And that might be a practical way, and probably a better way for people that probably don't have a good environment for a pet today.
Yeah.
To get that fulfillment.
Yep.
Because sometimes it's just not practical.
And we also have opportunities as a volunteer within the organization for people who might not be ready to handle animals,
Right.
but we always have people that are needed for administrative tasks and things like that as well.
That's great. Well, I'm also a realtor. So I come across a lot of people, and it's a big mistake, I think, when you're renting and you're not talking to the landlord, you're not communicating with the landlord, and you get a pet. And then you wind up getting thrown out for that pet.
Yeah.
And then it's very hard today on Staten Island to find a place that will take pets. There are lists of people
Yeah.
that they can't find a place to go, and then that animal gets abandoned a lot of times.
That's a big reason that we see people having to surrender their animals.
And that's my advice is, if you're renting, you never know what tomorrow brings. You might not have that apartment. And then
Yeah.
what do you do with that pet? And I think most people have to ask themselves, under any circumstances, what would I do before they get a pet? And
Yep.
and if the future is iffy on where you're going to be, you probably shouldn't get a pet. I hate to say that.
No, but like you said, there are opportunities. Another thing we do quickly is we have a borough break program where you can come and take a dog out for a field trip for the day, take them to
that's
the park,
nice.
everything else.
A lot of people need a temporary friend.
Absolutely. So, you could come in, walk the dog, take it out, go to the beach, whatever you want to do, and then you bring it back. But it also helps us because we get then information on how this animal will behave outside the care center.
Nice.
So it helps us
It
place
gives the dog
animals.
a break from being in a cage or
Yeah,
a run or whatever.
absolutely.
So how do they house them? We have 30 seconds.
So we have we have very modern facilities.
Right.
Matter of fact, when the Queens one opens, Brooklyn is going to be done as well. But the Staten Island one, it's all very clean glass, stainless steel, large kennels, individual air and heat in each kennel, stuff like that. So yeah, and we encourage people, come on down, take a look.
Think of Animal Care Centers of New York City. If you have a pet that needs rescue, or if you want to adopt a pet, or if you want to volunteer, this is a great place to be, and I never knew that we had such fantastic facilities for animals. This is Charles Di Bartolo with Better Staten Island. I'm with Paul Sanders of Animal Care Centers of New York City, and I'd like to thank you for tuning in. Take care.